Well, hello there. Now we're about to do our lesson 6 of the first part, and this is going to do a little bit of revision, talking about external style sheets, selectors, which we have touched on before, but we'll need to cover that a little bit better. And lesson 6 part B or part 2, is going to be the box modeling concept. Okay. Just a little bit to recap, we have our cascading style sheets, and this is purely for the presentation. The HTML document, its code dictates the structure, and the two combined together, we actually have a potential of having a very nice website or web page. It is based on having a function. This is inside one of the activities we did in week 2, which I've just copied across, and we have a function here, the opening curly brackets, the closing curly brackets, and inside it is the various CSS code which does things to the web page. Alright, now quite often while we've been learning how to do the CSS within a web page, we've actually put the CSS in the header, but a better way of using the full potential of CSS is having it in its own little file. Now I just pop across to our Internet Explorer, and here we have a horizontal menu, and this is the external style sheet, which is what is almost identical to what you'll have in the header, and I'm sure that you should all be rather familiar with this particular page already. Now the advantage of having all of your CSS, or most of your CSS, in its own unique file is that we can have many HTML documents, and they'll all bring in the information from the one file. Because of this, we can actually make a change on the one file, and it'll be instantly implemented throughout the entire website. And that's where you have your cascading type idea come from. Okay, so this particular line is the important section which actually it links the HTML document to the CSS document. Okay, but we have seen it before, but that's just to recap. Okay, now we need to start looking at various selectors, and what I might do is just bring this up so we can see it a little bit better. And here we've got some code, which is we've got the style types that's going to be in our header, and inside we have a declaration of P, so all P paragraphs is going to have a border with one point in solid black. We have something else which is called the blue para and yellow para, which is short paragraph, I guess. And we have notice in front of that, that's got the full stop blue para, full stop yellow para, and also a hash P2, and all of these things are basically descriptors of what we'll find inside the HTML. Okay. Now, if we're going to have any named tag, which is not just like a standard name HTML tag, like for example we have body here, we could with many occasions you've seen we'll just have body and we'll type in what we need to do the body, but further down we've actually got tags which we've put IDs and classes inside the tag. So this used to be just simply a P tag. We've actually inserted ID equals, remember the quotes, P1, and class, remember the quotes, blue power. It's a very important thing that we need to remember, and that is if you're using an ID inside the CSS part, you need to put a hash in front of the ID name. So here we have ID equals P1. It doesn't have a hash, it's got the quotes because it's HTML. Inside, or here's one P2. Inside the CSS, we put the hash in front of the P2 to tell CSS we're actually talking about an ID to make it quite unique. If we're going to name a class, where's my last one? And if we have, here's a class called yellow para. Remember this is in HTML, so it needs the quotes. And then the CSS code for that to work is a full stop. And so here we have a full stop, which is telling the CSS we're talking about a class. And my mouse keeps disappearing. And here we have the yellow power, which is the same as what we've got here. Now, when we read the code, just get out of here. When we read the code, we will be able to see how this code links up to each other. So we've got the when this page is being run, we'll go through all the header, find out where everything is, and find out where all the IDs and functions and classes are. And the browser's got all of that in memory, so then it starts actually running the code. And first up we have a paragraph, which is this one. All it just says simply is paragraph 1, and we've told it by inserting into the P tag that this P, its ID, or similar to a student ID, is going to be P1, and the class that it is in, because a class can have many students in it, is going to be blue power. The paragraph 2 is going to be called P2, and blue power also is in the same class, whereas this paragraph 3 is going to have an ID of P3 and it's going to be in the yellow paragraph class, and same for the paragraph 4 is going to have an ID called P4 and it's also going to be in the class of yellow power. When the code or the browser is running through, running this code to put it on the screen, it's simply going to say, oh, hang on, I've got this paragraph 1, which all it says is paragraph 1 in this paragraph, and jumps up and tries to apply P1 to it. I don't actually see a P1, so it will ignore that and go on, and then it's going to say yes, but it's also part of the class of blue power. Has that got anything which I need to do to it? And there is indeed. Here we have a blue power, so it's going to give it a background color of light blue, and there it is. And every P inside here is going to have a border of 1 pixel in solid black, and there you can see it's actually done that. The next line is going to be P2, and it jumps up, and there is a P2. We're going to go hash P2, and it's going to give it a larger font, a bold font, and an underline. We can see how that's happened. Also, it's part of the blue power class, so then it goes and does that to it as well, which gives it a light blue background. And so when we go on to the third line, it's going to continue applying the correct ID or class information to it, and so we get the invariance here. Okay, well, I'm hoping that you can follow that and read through it a couple of times to see, because it's pretty important that you do have a really good understanding of IDs and classes. Without that understanding, it's just not going to work very well. And we have an activity, and Inside the hyperlinks folder there is a index.html file, and we just simply need you to experiment, play around, try and give various styles to the various paragraphs. Make sure that you're using both IDs and classes in your experiments. You're more than welcome to do more. Please, at least 2 different styles with both ID and the class sector. Where that is inside hyperlinks. Here is our index. So if you open that up with Notepad, and we already have a body here as well. Don't bother separating on this occasion, and I'm just particularly interested in seeing that you know how to basically add in, give IDs to these various paragraphs or elements, and then your functions will be up in your header area, probably in there, which is going to be your new functions. That's going to be here, which is after the body function finishes. Alright, okay, have a go with that and experiment and have fun.